America's team. And it's all over! The Browns are winners today!
What's up, everybody? Welcome in the Network 216 pregame show for your playoff opener. Browns are in Houston to take on the Texans. I'm Jacob. That's Nick. We got Mr. Fatty Ham with us down below. Gentlemen, how are we doing on this fine playoff Saturday?
I just want to join the party.
Pumped.
We'll be rocking the next show.
Yeah. Why do I not have a hold on, I gotta fix this. I was like, where is my scroller? We got to get it up here on the screen. All right, gentlemen. Interesting news off the top that we wanted to start with. They've postponed the Steelers and Bills until Monday.
4:30.
4:30 on Monday. That's crazy. I get it because they're about to get hammered as hell up there. That's crazy. Any thoughts on that before we jump in?
It's just weird. It's kind of like, do you remember when we were in the midst of the COVID year and they pushed a bunch of those games back and we played?
The Browns played at 5 p.m. on like a Tuesday or something weird like that. I remember that. Yeah.
That's like the vibes it gives me. It's just strange. Like if you're on the West Coast, you've got a 1:30 p.m. Monday playoff game. I guess it must really be terrible out there if they're postponing a playoff game. I guess that's where I go with it. What do you think, Jared?
The only thing I want the Bills to win, obviously, so I want every advantage for Buffalo because nobody wants to see the Steelers who backdoored their damn way into this game. I think it's just weird because it's just, man, Buffalo gets hammered. They had even a game like that beforehand when they had 4 feet of snow they had to shovel out of the stadium. They were giving away free tickets for it. I hope it's not to that extent, but I mean, for being a playoff game getting pushed to Monday, kind of sucks for everybody that's got to work. And, you're trying to watch a NFL wildcard playoff game at 4:30. I mean, Nick, you even said you can't even take a nap when you get home. You got to sit there and go through all your stuff. And it's like, come on, man. Everybody wants to watch the football game. Like, pick a different time. You've done double head Monday nighters before. Do it again.
Yeah. I will say, though, that a lot of people like myself, that is Monday is a holiday. So that's probably why they were okay with putting it in the middle of the day, because a lot of people will be off for that. It is Martin Luther King Day. So
okay.
I am off for that day as well. So I know someone like Nick works no matter what for the most part, but yeah. You do too?
Oh, yeah. I was at work this morning throwing down salt and making sure nobody fell on their ass.
Ah, hey, that's the people's champion. That's a public service right there, Jared.
It is.
I know, man. I know it's cold and windy too.
Let's get into it. Let's get into what we're here for. Let's talk about the Browns and Texans going to do battle in a little over 4 hours. So I don't know how we're going to make it. Some people suggested we just do a 4-hour pregame show. I don't know if I've got that in me, but we'll see. We'll see what we got. It seems like Denzel Ward is going to play in this game. I haven't heard anything since he posted that video yesterday, but looking at that, it seems pretty obvious. It looks like Juan Thornhill's good to go. Mary Kay Cabot mentioned that in passing, that they believe he's good to go. You don't have Grant Delpit, but Ronnie Pickman back there, and then DeAnthony Bell. They played really well. CJ Stroud's going to play. It's going to be a different matchup than they did before, but I'll start with you, Nick, and we'll go around the horn. Just off the beat, what is your initial thoughts to how the teams match up against each other today?
It's tough because, it's so similar to when the Browns played Pittsburgh in 2020 in the final week, and then they played them again the next week. It feels similar to that. But I still feel confident about the Browns. I feel like the defense has shaken some of those going on the road woes. I feel like, so I believe Juan Thornhill is going to play. That's a big deal to me, because at least then you've got a dude who's been there before, who's been to the top of the mountain, and then you've got Ronnie Hickman, who's been playing out of his mind next to him. so like obviously you want Grant Delpit, but I just think when I look at this game, the Browns have already there's a lot of nice pieces to it. You've already gone to Houston. You know the travel plan. You've been there. You've done it. You've seen yourself win in that stadium. Amari Cooper had his best game ever as a Brown in that stadium. I love that it's indoors, and so for a guy like Riley Patterson, who maybe isn't as automatic as Dustin Hopkins, you're not going to have the elements to worry about. Overall, I'm trying not to sip too much Kool-Aid, but man, I feel good about the Browns.
What do you think, Jared?
Yeah, I'm with Nick. And the thing that I am enjoying about this is, man, our secondary has been locked in for the past 3 weeks. And if you get Emerson on top of Nico Collins, shutting him down, I mean, the only thing that's left is Schultz, and JOK has been playing hell of a great game. So I'm confident. It's like a nervous confidence because it is the playoffs. But it's just like you're confident that you're going to win. But it's like there's always that one little wrinkle that always like you're like, oh, we're going to do this. But like you're just, and especially as Browns fans, we feel that way. But I mean, the one thing that I think that really needs to be focused on today is our defensive line. If they don't show up and show out against CJ Stroud, I think it might be a little bit of a tougher game than what it should be. But I mean, as long as Myles Garrett just wreaks havoc like he can, this is going to be awesome. And it's, like I said, Emerson needs to be on Nico Collins. He really does.
Yeah, I feel like the fit there is everything you want, because Denzel's better for the shiftier, smaller wide receivers. I think like guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, that type of mold. But like when you're looking at Nico Collins, who's bigger, I think he's 6'2", 6'3". Martin Emerson's the corner that you drafted to shut down guys like that. And I love that matchup. I love it. Feels like, I know Grant Delpit's not there, but it feels like this is the most healthy the secondary has been in a while. Juan Thornhill's kind of he battled back from the injury, re-aggravated it. Now it looks like he's back. I think my like most important piece here overall is the Browns had the earliest bye week in the NFL, right? And so when you earn the ability to rest some of their guys in the final week like they did, and on top of the fact that you played on Thursday, so after you clinch the playoffs, you've got that extra weekend plus being able to rest you guys. I think that is the biggest difference, is that the guys who you could see, across the NFL, players are getting injured, and a lot of teams are limping to the finish line. Miami comes to mind. Buffalo lost a couple guys in their final game with them too. It's like the Browns got to rest majority, escaped relatively healthy, and on top of that got essentially a bye week, which most teams do not have the luxury of, especially if you didn't clinch the number 1 seed. So to me, I'm expecting a rested and well-studied Browns team headed into this game.
Yeah, I want to catch up in these comments, and then we'll get a little bit more into this game, just because we've had some questions and some things. People firing off in the comments.
Let's go.
It's really nice. Our Joey Edibles checking in, asking about the thoughts on them getting moved to Monday. We talked about it probably right before you jumped on, and I'm okay with it because I'm off work, because it's a holiday, and I think that's why they can do it a little bit better. But it's weird. That's weird, man. There's only going to be one playoff game today, and I don't like that, because I thought starting at 4:30 I was going to watch football until about midnight, but I'm not going to do that today, because here we are. He is breaking out his Joe Flacco jersey.
Let's go.
Today. That's fantastic. Let's see. What we got here? Tim, I knew my voice to fancy was his voice to talk isn't working out for him. Gotcha. Voice to text. Those are probably. Does Flacco break the consecutive games interception streak? I don't think so. I don't know that he's going to throw 2 or 3, but I feel confident that I don't think he'll throw like 3 of them, but I think he throws at least 1. That's just who he is right now, and it's working. So I don't want him to be overly cautious. I want him to be smart with the football, maybe take a little less risks now that it's the playoffs. But the risks that he's taking and the throws that he's attempting and hitting are why he's playing the way he's playing. He beats Tom Brady's record today. I would like that. It's a funny little I hope all the Squealer fans get fired for calling off on Monday. Joey says, well, you're assuming they have jobs. Anyway. Anyway, I just saw that comment, and so I really needed to get that up on the screen and get that out of the way and get our initial thoughts on that. So I'll talk about the main difference here going against the Texans as opposed to what we saw on Christmas Eve, and that's CJ Stroud, man. CJ's been fantastic. He was always QB1. Yeah. Everybody was always overthinking it. I love Bryce Young, don't get me wrong, but you were banking everything on a statistical anomaly. I mean, a guy of that size is an absolute anomaly for working in the NFL, and at least for 1 year, it hasn't. And you get CJ Stroud the way he is. But I will point out, CJ Stroud under pressure is not great. He's not faced a defensive line like this, but they absolutely have to, from the rip, be ready to pressure CJ and pressure him as often. Send people. I would prefer if at least early you get some of those 5-man rushes and things of that nature. I don't want you to blitz them completely. Obviously, you can, but I think early sacks, early pressures, that's my biggest key to start with. So I'll go with you, Jared, first. Just thoughts on the difference that CJ Stroud makes and kind of what the defense needs to do to adjust.
I mean, this year, CJ Stroud and what he's done with the Houston Texans, and kudos to coach down there. Just nobody expected this from this team this year. I mean, we expected like a handful of wins, and now you got probably the rookie of the year with CJ Stroud, and he is just playing great. But like you said, you get pressured on him. You know, he gets a little happy feet and still moves a lot. And with that Colts game, you know, he definitely got that with Buckner and all of them getting their rushes in on him. So I believe if we can get him off of his happy spot, get him moving around a little bit, it'd be nice. But I also want to keep probably JOK or somebody like that to shadow him or blitz him up the middle to get him just that little extra, because we can't let him get outside too much, because that's when he starts doing some havoc with Nico Collins. Like that one pass out of nowhere, they just threw up in the air like a prayer, and, you know, there he is and catching it. So just keep a guy, you know, spying around him. But other than that, you know, if you get him off his mark and get him flustered enough, and, you know, hopefully he'll start messing up and we get some picks on him and turns this into a blowout.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not here to discount CJ Stroud, because I watched him against the Colts, and that was a playoff game for them, right? So some of the narrative has been like, what will a rookie quarterback do in the playoffs in that piece? Well, it's like CJ just performed in Indianapolis doing just that. So I expect him to be dangerous. I expect the Texans to score some points. I don't – it's a playoff game. It's going to be close. I get that. I think in general, you just need to force CJ into more mistakes than you yourselves make. I think they on offense were so explosive when they had Nico Collins and Tank Dell. It sucks that you know, Tank Dell got injured, but I think in general you can more focus on Nico and try to make the rest of the Texans beat you. I think CJ can be rattled. That's something we've seen. You know, I still think about week 1, man. Like, Joe Burrow does not. I watched Joe Burrow get pummeled throughout their whole playoff run to the Super Bowl and just stay unrattled. And then I watched him in Cleveland when I was there with Jacob and Andy, and they hit him early and often. And by the time they got to about the third quarter, you could tell Burrow wanted no part of the Browns defensive line and pass rush. And that's my key. I think that they need to rattle CJ, because the Browns have had it. I don't know the stats exactly, but I feel like the Browns are far more successful against quarterbacks that aren't as mobile, right? CJ can run, but he's not, you know, he's not Lamar, right? So if you can get in his face, if you can rattle him a little bit, I think that he will make some mistakes. He did have a 3-interception game this year. He's another guy similar to Joe Flacco that's just going to sling it regardless. Make him make mistakes. I think that is the key, because they're going to air it out. They know where their bread's buttered. Shout out to Casey Kinnaman, who I saw was in the chat. Love Casey. They know where their bread's buttered. So you get in his face. You don't let him hold the ball and diagnose the defense, confuse them a little bit. I hope that Jim Schwartz dials up some different defenses that can keep him guessing just a half second of hesitation. And I think that's how you beat CJ Stroud and the Texans.
I misspoke, by the way. The Steelers-Bills game is tomorrow. Originally, it is moved till Monday. We still have a game tonight. Early, for whatever reason, I said, "Oh, we only have one playoff game today," and then Randy Gurzy reminded me that it's Chiefs-Dolphins tonight, not Bills-Steelers. So yes,
so now we've got 2-2-2, right?
Yes, 2-2-2. Okay. Yep, we're 2 across the board, and that makes me very happy. Anyway, that's better. I want to get into my bold predictions. I write this up every week for Browns Wire. And what's really weird is I've never brought it up on this show. And I realized that just a little bit ago. I'm like, why haven't I always brought up my bold predictions? Sometimes I talk about them a little bit. Sometimes I don't. So, yes, Stefanski 10-0 against the AFC South. Flacco is 5-0 in the wild card round. And he asked earlier how far Joey Edibles also asked at this point, all things considered, how far into the playoffs will it take to make you happy, or is this good enough? I'm happy. I'm happy. It's been so much fun. I'm happy if they lose today. I don't think they will, and I don't want them to. But in terms of like making this a successful season, I think it's already there personally. Anybody else feel differently, or is that where you're at?
I was talking to Avita before we went live. I need one more week. I need one more week. I need to go to the divisional round. I don't want to mince words. I think the season's been a success, given how many quarterbacks you've started, given all the injuries you've dealt with. The fact that you're in the playoffs, that you got here like this, is a huge success to me. Kevin Stefanski's up for Coach of the Year. Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. There's a lot to like, right? But if you win a playoff game and you can go to the divisional round against whoever it is you go up against, like if the Browns go to Baltimore and they play them really close, I can't see myself being upset at that. So to me, it's just like, you've got to beat Houston, get to the divisional round, and let's see where it goes. Like, let's get a little bit of this playoff magic, this playoff feeling, playoff experience, playoff wins. I feel like all of those things matter, and the experience, like I know the Browns had a bunch of guys with Super Bowl experience, like Joe Flacco talked to them a bunch, and Ronnie McLeod talked to them. I'm assuming Juan Thornhill did, right? Like this playoff experience matters to me. So get a week deeper. That's where I'm at. What about you, Jared?
I am, to be honest, I'm super happy to be here, because any other Brown season with what has happened with the Browns, they would have just phoned it in.
Yep.
They would have phoned it in. We would have went 5-12 or whatever. And yet this team just kept going, and this coach kept going, and they came together, and it was not pretty. A lot of these games were close. A lot of these games were field goal winners. A lot of these games were final drives. A lot of these games were the defense making a stop. So for us to be where we're at right now, and like Nick, you said, 5 quarterbacks, all the injuries. I mean, we lost our pretty much the best running back in the NFL. We lost our starting quarterback. We lost our starting right tackle. You just keep going down the list of everything that we lost. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're on our 5th and 6th tackles right now, guys. Like, everything we've lost, and we're here, and we are competing, and we're favored to win this. Yep. It's unreal. And you know something? I'm just enjoying the ride. I am enjoying the ride. Yes, I'd love for them to go on to the next round, to the Super Bowl, wherever they want to go. That's fine. I'll enjoy this ride for whatever it takes, because guess what? Right now we're playing with house money, people. We really are, because this could have gone 9 different ways.
Yep.
And it could have been a shit show, and we couldn't even been here. And detriment to the team, Andrew Berry, Coach Stefanski, all the assistant coaches, to get this team where they're at is just absolutely amazing. And I couldn't have pictured this.
Yeah, I Josh pointing out, talking too about being negative 30 wind chill for Dolphins Chiefs tonight, which is just why I don't go outside in the month of January. Anyway, I mean, it's not that cold here, like where I'm at, by any stretch of the imagination. But you know, that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, you know. Also, check our friends out at Homage. I don't think I plugged them at the beginning of the show like I normally do. So plug them. I'm going traditional. But this
Ooh.
jersey here over my shoulder has not been worn. I got it for Christmas, hung it up immediately. I think it gets worn today. I think it gets taken off the wall and gets worn today. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'm going to go with my bold predictions. Here are my 3 bold predictions, and then I will have you guys react to them, add anything you want to add, whatever it is. So going into this game, there's a lot of talk about what Amari Cooper did the last time, deservedly so. You get 265 yards on anybody in any game on the ground or receiving, you need to be talked about a lot. And you also need to point out that he said that heel injury, he was very productive even after that heel injury. It wasn't at the end of the game. It was somewhere around the middle of the game, I believe. I can't remember exactly when he said, but it wasn't the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? He was still doing damage when that heel injury suffered. They're going to pay a lot of attention to him, and that's why I believe David Njoku leads the Browns in receiving yards today. I think he does so with probably 125, 150 yards somewhere. I know it's going to be over 100. I think it might be closer to 150 the more I think about it. I think with Amari, the way Amari attacked vertically, because he won a lot of what Amari did was vertical in their first matchup on Christmas Eve. There was a lot of, they take that deep shot in the first play of the game, which I have dreamed about the Browns going deep and getting into the red zone on the first play of game, because I watch teams do it against us all the time. Lamar will hit one, I watch 50, 60-yard pass plays against the Browns all the time. I've seen it. It's happened all the time. And the Browns did it in that game, and it was Christmas Eve, and you were so stoked up, so pumped up, and they hit Amari. It was like 50-yarder, 45-yarder, whatever it was, because they had that really good return. They got set up in good field position. But it was like, okay, well, with them clearing out and playing vertically, I think what David Njoku has done after the catch and in those situations where he stays in the block and leaks out, because the Browns legitimately have a great blocking tight end in David Njoku, they keep Njoku in all the time to block, pass block. So when they leak him out like that, it works because there is an actual threat that he's going to stay in there. And I think with the way they're going to clear things out, because I think Amari, they'll try to attack him vertically again with him and Elijah Moore and Marquise Goodwin just to see what happens. And if they start playing soft, giving them huge cushions, I think David Njoku ends up eating 125, 150 yards, leads the team. Number 2, Myles Garrett's going to take this game over. 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble at least, in my mind. He comes in his best regular season of his career, 86 quarterback pressures this year, the 14 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. He's just been that dude, and he's getting the All-Pro recognition, and he's getting PFF voted him their defensive player of the year. He's getting all this stuff, and people just want to still try to rag on him and say this and say that, whatever it might be. But here he comes. And in my mind, I think this is a Myles Garrett, I am the defensive player of the year kind of game. They move him around. This is an okay offensive line. If anybody but Laramie Tunsil tries to take him on one-on-one, it's not going to work well for the Texans. And so for me, I think he takes over. That's bold prediction number 2. And number 3 is that Flacco mania continues with 300 yards and 3 touchdowns again. And it just feels like they're a team of destiny, man. Like the chemistry he has built with Amari Cooper and David Njoku, and the chemistry that he's rekindled with Elijah Moore. You really got to see it with Elijah Moore against the Jets with Amari out. And it's just like, and David Njoku getting all this attention after having 100 yards in the first quarter. And it's like there are 3 really good options on this team that have chemistry with a quarterback that is lighting it up. This is not a good secondary. They're without Jerry Hughes. They'll have Will Anderson Jr. The Browns did not face Will Anderson Jr. the first time, and it looks like they'll have him back this time. But all said and done, I think Flacco opens it up. So I got Flacco mania, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2.5 sacks, and a first fumble from Myles Garrett. And David Njoku, 125 to 150, leads the team. Gentlemen, how do we feel about the bold predictions?
I love them. If your bold predictions come through, we win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I mean, I hope that Njoku goes that much. I don't think he will. I think it'll be a little bit less than that. But I mean, you just need him to cover the middle of the field. If you're going to go deep with Mari Cooper, the dump offs and everything are going to be right there for Njoku. And be honest, for some of our backs, get Ford involved and get Kareem Hunt involved. So that would be great. And I got to ask you guys, what's the over under on holding penalties for Myles Garrett? Is it going to be like, what is it, like half? Are they actually going to pull the flag out of their pants and throw it? Or are they just going to let him just get mugged every time that he tries to pass rush?
If I'm setting the over under, if I'm Vegas setting the over under and wanting to win, I would put it at 1.5, because I feel like, and we've seen it happen a couple of times recently, I feel like they'll throw one. Like, I feel like there will be one, and because he's going to draw a bunch of attention, I feel like they'll throw one. Like, they'll move him over to the right side. There's not a lot of talent going on the right side of that offensive line for Houston, and I feel like he'll get one. But I can't remember the last time he got more than one. So if I'm Houston, if I'm Vegas, I put the over under at 1.5, and I'll probably take the under.
I have never seen a defensive player get tackled so much in my entire life, and just nope, it's okay, it's okay, you're fine, get up, it's okay.
I just realized I'm wearing this orange shirt with an orange walls, and I was like, oh man, that is not an aesthetic that I should have gone with today.
Hey, it works.
It took me like 35 minutes into this podcast to figure that out.
I think a big piece of this, Myles is obviously, he always has that shoulder taped and re-aggravated whatever, and has just been playing through it anyway. And so kudos to him and shout out to him. I think the penalties are going to go under, but I think Myles is just going to get to the quarterback. There's nobody who needed the rest as much as Myles did, because he's obviously been playing through injury. He's obviously, just been gutting through it. And I have all the respect in the world for him for doing that. But now that you're talking about, hey, we you've had a week off. It's been like 2 weeks since you played a football game. Maybe you come out like a bat out of hell. You're fresh. And so I like Jacob and Jared. I like what both of you are saying about Myles. I think he can have a really big game today. I think the value of just being fresher, being healthier, being having time to get ready like the Browns have had is immense. And I love that. I'll just say, and throw to you, if Joe Flacco goes over 300 and throws 3 touchdowns, I'm listening to that and I'm getting goosebumps. I mean, I just there's just a certain piece to it that you watch Joe do this, and I went back and I watched the 2014. I can't remember the year, but basically his Super Bowl MVP run, and it is crazy. It's crazy how he's just making it. I'm looking at these throws and I'm like, this is a decade later, and Joe's still making the same throws, but for the Browns. I've never seen anything like it. The way, because even when Drew Brees was getting a little bit older, Tom Brady was getting a little bit older, Peyton Manning's getting a little bit older, you could see that they didn't have the same zip. I guess, for lack of a better word, zip. And Joe still got it, man. I don't think it's have you guys seen any, is there anything like this? I can't, at what point does Joe Flacco jumping off the couch become the best addition that there's been, the best? I mean, is Joe Flacco already, has there ever been anything like this where a dude just comes out of retirement and literally lights the league on fire? Because I'm trying to think about it and I got nothing.
I don't know, Jared. I can't think of one.
I mean, we've had our runs with the Fitzgerald, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic. We've had the runs with him and stuff like that. But this is unprecedented. And I think, to be honest, what the cure is for him and why it's so great what he's doing here is he's actually thrown to a spot. He's not waiting for a wide receiver to get open. Yep. He's not waiting for the breakaway speed or anything of that nature. That's why I don't even get upset by some of his interceptions, because he was throwing to a spot that the wide receiver was supposed to be at, and he wasn't there. the one that Tillman got, picked. And it was just all right, that's fine. He was supposed to be there, but he is just slinging it where it needs to be. And, I don't think we've had that as Browns fans for a little bit of just throwing it where it's supposed to be and letting your wide receivers do their job. And he's letting them do their job. And look what it's done for him. I mean, 300 yards passing, like 4 games in a row, multiple touchdowns. He leads touchdowns. Like, it's just unreal what he's doing. I can't explain it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's that simple to me. It's that simple. And we talked about this. I was on All Eyes on Cleveland with Brad Ward on Thursday night. Casey Kinnaman was there with us, and Chef Zay jumped on there, which is funny because Chef Zay was on with Casey and I on our show on Tuesday. And we talked to Quincy Carrier, and they asked, what's your, favorite moment from this year? And for me, it's that throw to Amari Cooper to tie the game against the Bears, because I've watched it again since then. It's been surfacing on the internet again this week, where you watch that throw and it's like, has a Browns quarterback ever been able to make that throw in my lifetime since '99? Not that I've fucking seen. Like,
no, it would have been picked off. It would have been picked off as if any other quarterback
for a touchdown. For a touchdown somehow. They would return it for a touchdown. You'd be down 2 scores and you would lick your wounds and go back to trying to figure it out next week. And Flacco, that was to me the moment that I thought, because I was like, yeah, I still felt like they were going to make the playoffs, because it was like Flacco will be good enough and he'll be average and he'll get us to the playoffs with our great defense and all these things that we'd asked. And that was the throw when I was like, oh, wait, no, this man really still does have all that arm talent that he used to have. And as long as they continue to put him into success, and like, I had some concerns about Stefanski around October. And everybody knows I've been a Stefanski guy since the very beginning. It's who I wanted them to hire in 2020. And I was right all the way through last year, all that stuff. I was right there thinking Kevin Stefanski was the guy. I got a little bit down on it in October. There were some concerns I had. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, don't worry. I am the guy. Here it is. And I'm like, oh, good, man. I was really stupid for thinking you weren't. For a little bit. I only thought it for like 2 weeks. But he is putting them in these positions, and Joe Flacco and him, that just, they're perfectly in sync, and they're perfect together. Just like Flacco what Flacco does really well is what Stefanski understands how to amplify. He understands play action, naked boot, throwing it, timing routes, things like that. That's where Flacco and Stefanski are their best. Now, do I think that Stefanski, if he had a mobile quarterback going into next year, is going to be able to adjust again? Yes, I do. I think they were starting to adjust to Watson's play style, and then they got kind of screwed with injuries. So whatever. But I am super excited about that. That is where I'm at. And I'll be right back because I got to pee. You guys go ahead.
Do your thing, man. I just think, there's such a cool piece to this whole Flacco conversation, because like it's not just that Flacco's leading the best Browns offense that we've seen all year. It's that up until, you mentioned, Jared, that Flacco threw 300 yards in, I think, 4 straight games. He's never done that in his NFL career until he got paired with Kevin Stefanski. Like, the idea that not only is Flacco, like, because a lot of people say, oh, well, the Browns bar is so low, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, Joe Flacco's been a Super Bowl MVP and led the Ravens on this historic playoff run. And he is putting up numbers that he has never, like, I get the interceptions. I get that, right? Like, that's just a piece of the conversation. Not all of them, in my opinion, are Joe's fault, but like, Joe's just been playing on a level that he himself has never achieved in his career, which turning 39 in, I think his birthday's Tuesday. So Joe Flacco will be 39 Tuesday, and he just, for the first time in his career, threw 300 yards in 4 straight games. Like,
he's never done that. He's never done it in 3 straight games, let alone 4.
That is what every time, the more you dissect this, the more bizarre, like, amazing. It's just, personally, I spend so much time like fantasizing about like what a great Browns team would be, and like what a playoff run would feel like, and all of these things. And it's like, I woke up this morning and I'm like, Well, this is what I was thinking about the whole time. This is what we've been waiting for. You look at it and you're like, our defensive end could be defensive player of the year. Our coach could be coach of the year. Our quarterback could be comeback player of the year. How is this? What is it? I have no words.
Hey, just so we're clear, Micah Parsons, during his podcast this week, named Kevin Stefanski Coach of the Year, Joe Flacco Comeback Player of the Year, and Jim Schwartz Assistant Coach of the Year.
Is there an Assistant Coach of the Year award?
There is, I believe. But the thing about that is, Casey, when we were doing our regular season award show on the Barking Browns, Casey even pointed out to me, he's like, I'm not familiar enough with other assistant coaches to say rather he will win that or whatnot.
Sure.
And I'm with him on that. I don't know, because like what Ben Slowick is doing with CJ Stroud in Houston a year after they were one of the most abysmal offenses in football is pretty. I think Slowick is very much. If they lose today to the Browns, Slowick will probably be a head coach on Tuesday. Like, I think that's a really real possibility. I would watch out for Justin Herbert and the Chargers for Slowick, in my personal opinion. I think watch out for that. I think it'd be a great and they're picking 5th. They're going to get like Brock Bowers or Malik Neighbors or someone like of that nature for Justin Herbert. And like, I'm telling you, man, like I've been messing around with some draft simulation and stuff, and it could be really, really interesting to see where that goes. Let's see, assistant linebackers coach of the year. Yeah. Well, that could very well be. Tarver's been a fantastic coach this year. 1, this has been a long week, even though it's a short week. 2, I'm a nervous wreck. Yeah, we're with you there.
I think everybody is right now.
I told, I said last night when I was talking with Brad Ward and Casey Kinnaman on our show on the PSF app, I said, like when you get called to the principal, they're like, oh, come to the office, and so you walk down, your heart's beating out of your chest, and you're walking down, you're like, oh my God. And you get into the office and you have to sit in the office, in the like reception area until the principal calls you in. And you got the little, the secretaries in there. She's always this mean old broad, and she's always like, and so like, you're sitting there and you're just like, kind of like, oh my God, and you're just like in your heart and you're waiting for them to call you. You have no idea what you're doing there, or maybe you do, and you just have no idea what the principal is actually going to give you as a punishment. And you're sitting, that's where I'm at. That is what I'm feeling like. I feel like I'm sitting in reception waiting to go into the principal's office to see what happens. And maybe it's going to be a good thing, but maybe I'm going to get hit with a ruler. So I don't know, man. Like, that's where I'm at, and I'm just trying to survive.
Here's another great analogy. It's like, you're speeding. You're doing like 55 and a 35, and you see the cop coming at you just the opposite way, and your stomach just drops because you're like, is he going to turn around and flash those lights at me, or is he going to let me go? Let's see what he does. Yep. And if he doesn't flash lights, you're good to go. I mean, it's just one of those things. Like, that's where you're at. There's knots in your stomach. You're excited. Once kickoff happens and once the game starts playing, I think it's going to be a lot better. But right now, it's just like knots in the stomach. It is roller coaster. It is, you want to just go nuts and start screaming at everybody, and you can't. And it's just like, like I would love to be down there tailgating with all those guys down there today. It would be absolutely insane.
Let's talk about that. You bring up a great point, Jared. Have you guys seen all the videos of Browns fans in Houston?
Dude, they took it over. They took it over. I know the Nats tailgaters are down there now. Big Willie's down there now. The Chef Paul Brown is down there now. Like, dude, they traveled, and it's nuts. I can't believe they packed in the Browns backer bar down there. They had Hayden Grove there actually showing the video. That whole Browns backer bar was just packed.
That's awesome.
They're doing Here We Go Brownies chants. I saw a video from Paul Brown today about them talking to Texans fans, and Texans fans are like, where all these Browns fans come from? And they don't understand, man. And I love that. I was selfishly, I was hoping that the playoff game would be in Indianapolis, because if it was, I would be there, because that's just like a 3.5 hour drive, But just to see everybody that,
Hold up,
man,
hold up. What the hell's going on?
Casey.
The U.S. government says I have to take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
I'm doing it right here now.
Nice.
Look at you. Browns up to the max, Casey.
What do you
love it.
got for us, Casey? We're just talking about
You guys are making excellent points. I keep hearing about this guy named Casey making good points. I like what you guys are doing. Your bold predictions, if that happens, Jared's right. If that happens, there's no way you're losing this game. January Joe, dude's never lost a first-round game, let alone a wild card game. He's got the second most experience of any quarterback in this entire playoffs. I think that bodes well for you today, man. I think it's going to be I think it gets away from the Texans, and they have to score on the back end to make it look like it was close. I can't get off my prediction from last night. I think you're going to hang 40 on these boys.
You're giving me chills, Casey. You're giving me chills.
I want to run through a wall now. I want to be like,
it's just like
I want to.
I love it, Casey. So how you feeling? Are you going to make time? Are you going to get back in time?
I am white fucking knuckling it, gentlemen. I am right up against it. Also quota. We're close, man. We're close. I should have been here 15 minutes ago in my mind to make it comfortable. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of shit and get on the back end of this route, man. So,
hey, we believe in you, Casey. I know you're going to get there. And you know what? It's a playoff game, so there'll probably be a little pomp and circumstance, maybe a little 5-10 minute delay, whatever. Gotta, do it up for the playoffs. So I believe in you, sir.
If not, we might have to call on a bomb threat. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. We're going to make it. We're going to make it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. If it gets too bad, I'll just call in a bomb threat and we'll move on. I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You know what? To your point, though, is there a better pairing with the talent and like where the Browns want to go with a dude who has more? I mean, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's done this so many times. I can't. Every time, the more you dig into it, it's like, this is perfect. There is nothing that makes more sense than Joe Flacco with this Browns team. Like the mix is perfect. I can't get over it, man.
Yeah, you couldn't have fell into a better situation, and how we all felt the Wednesday after we found out that Deshaun was done, because you had just got to the point where like, man, we could play anybody, with what we had, and it was just super deflating. And then we heard that they're going to bring guys in. And then the infamous picture on the airplane pops up, and it's like, okay, Flacco's in the mix. But I thought that was going to be one of many names, and it was one name. They knew what they wanted. They knew what they had in them. It's been a perfect marriage, man. It has. And I know a lot of people point to those interceptions. Man, I don't give a damn about them picks, dude. Like, the one is you don't have kicker, so you're basically punting into the end zone. We've had 3 miscommunications where him and a rookie wide receiver just aren't on the same page, which that's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I don't even look at it as being that big of a deal. I'd like him to tone it down, but do you have to tone it down? Obviously not. That's the one thing that's going to come down to today. The Texans have only turned the ball over 14 times this year. C.J. Stroud's only thrown 5 picks. We have 37 turnovers. Like, there is a discrepancy there. So that is something to monitor. But we've forced 28 turnovers this year, and they've only forced 21. So make the difference up there. Defense, go hunt. Try to get 1 or 2 turnovers and try to limit. Just finish even. Try not to lose a turnover battle. That's where I'm at.
Hey, we are due for a Myles Garrett strip sack. We are due for it like no other. I was watching those highlights of him hitting Gardner Minshew in the end zone, man, and flipping that game on its head. I think rested Myles Garrett is going to be a different level today. That's just I can't stop thinking about it, man, because it's not something you can measure, but it's when you have the earliest bye week in football and you get this week to just heal up and before this stretch run, I don't think you could ask for anything better.
No, and this is like we haven't been on the national stage that many times.
Yeah.
So, and Miles is already getting the respect finally. You know, we've been championing our guy for years, but because you haven't had a lot of winning, the accolades don't come with it. It seems to be getting close to him getting those accolades. But if you show out and have one of those Indianapolis type games on the national stage,
do we have Casey? Do we have time to do? I know you said the Browns are going to hang 40. Do we have time for predictions?
Yeah, man, I'm with it, dude. I think Joe throws 3 in the first half. I think they just come out smoking. You know, I know everybody's not wanting them to kind of pace themselves, but I think they're just going to come out and unload. I think they get up big on them, like 42-14. And I think that we do have trouble icing teams. So I think over the second half, you'll see the Texans kind of make it look like it was closer than it was.
Okay.
But in reality, we'll probably call the dogs off after the third.
I love it.
A playoff
Damn,
game? What
Casey,
we
I love
called
it.
Wild card bitches.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you, gentlemen.
Oh,
Let me
my.
have my time. I got to get back to shitting and getting. You guys are killing it. Love you guys. And I'll talk to you for the post game.
He's up, brother.
Thanks for joining us, Casey.
All right,
see you soon, Fred.
I knew he was gonna.
Love Casey.
I knew he wasn't gonna be able to resist it. So he had. I was like, let's see what happens. And I didn't expect him to actually be able to jump in because I know he's he has to work and.
As somebody that works in a similar line where your work's set out in front of you, and whenever you're done, that's when you get to go home. I feel for you, Casey. So hustle up, man. You'll be done for the playoffs. So you get there, all shall be well. All right. Well, so we got Casey's prediction. Are we at prediction time? Do you guys want to do predictions?
We're at about prediction time. We got about 5 or 6 minutes as we start to wrap this bad boy up.
All right. What are we thinking? Whoever wants to go, feel free.
Go for it, Jared.
Ooh, I think the defensive line over 6 sacks today.
Ooh.
I think they're just gonna. And it's a mixture of everybody. I think this is going to be a big game for Zadarius Smith, and I know it's going to be a huge game for Miles. But sprinkling a little JOK, I think they get over 6 sacks today on CJ, and I think they're going to disrupt the hell out of him and just in his face the entire game. So that's one of mine.
I love it. So what is your final score prediction, sir?
I had 28-21 Browns on our show on Thursday, and I'm going to stick with it. I hope they come out strong, but I think it'll be 28-14, and Houston gets a garbage touchdown at the end.
Okay, love it.
I'm sticking with. I've written this up now for Browns Wire. I said it last night. Somebody asked me on TikTok earlier, and I said the same thing. Give me Browns 31-20, or I'm sorry, 31-20. Yes, 31-20.
Wow. Okay. Damn. I think the Browns are going to score a defensive touchdown today. I just feel it. I think the defense is going to confuse CJ Stroud. And because I was originally going to say we're going to score, I'm going to say 35-21. I do think CJ Stroud's going to get some of his, but I think the turnovers are going to be the difference. The Browns are finally going to win the turnover battle for the first time in I don't know how long, and we're going to win 35-21.
They've only won it like 5 times or something like that. It's not great.
Can we get a fat boy touchdown today on defense?
God, I've been wanting a Nick Harris touchdown.
Give me a big boy touchdown.
I've been wanting a Nick Harris touchdown all damn year, and they finally had him open on the one play, but he wasn't open enough, and they threw it, I think, to Amari Cooper for a touchdown instead. And I was just like, son of a bitch!
Yeah. Hey, they've done some stuff like that before. I can't remember who the tackle was for us. Kendall Lamb. What a name. What were the odds of him coming up on this?
Kendall Lamb had a touchdown against the Titans and then signed with the Titans the offseason after that.
Yep. I do think the Browns.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I do think the Browns are going to get tricky with it. That's just Kevin Stefanski's going to come out with a couple of things that really change the game. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and hey, some of them are actually fun to watch too. Now, don't pull the crap with the not making yourself eligible when you come in. Make sure you grab a hold of that ref and you get face to face, you get in his personal space and tell him that you're eligible, and then you get on the line. But I asked earlier on Twitter, where are you guys watching the game at? What are you guys eating for the game?
Ooh. Okay. So I have a group of friends that I go to one away Browns game with a year, and they're aside from the fellow people on the screen here and my network 216, all of you guys. Ooh. Oh yeah, a little victory formation.
Yeah.
Aside from all my great people here with network 216, they're the people that I watch the Browns games with. So I'm gonna be with them. I don't know what I'm gonna eat. A lot of times I get Chipotle. I'm a big like victory burritos are a big thing in my life. I love victory burritos. I haven't decided on the food yet, so I wish I had a better answer for you, Jared. What are you eating?
Actually, I am without wife and kids today, so I am just chilling out in the house. But I'm kicking it old school Cleveland style. I got me some pierogies. I got me some kraut. I got me some kielbasa.
Oh yeah,
I am just killing it today. I'm doing that. Got a little beer stein. I am ready to go.
Let's go. I got to think about this. I have not done the proper preparation here. I got to step the game up, Jared.
So for me,
I always got to talk about food. I mean, look at me.
For me, I was starting to try to take control over some of my eating habits. I last year was not a great year for me weight wise, in such a situation where I had never, because I've always been kind of a smaller guy, and I was in the Army, so I was relatively active and things like that. I had never been under 200 pounds, but I spent a lot of last year over 200 pounds for the first time in my entire life. So I've been counting my calories and working out harder this week. I'm going to work out after this. I'm going to get my workout in before the game. But I have been under my calorie counts all week, and I'm getting a big ass cheese pizza with mushrooms and green olives.
Oh, green olives.
Oh yeah, that's a different take on that one.
And it's going to come from the pizza stop. Nick's had pizza stop. He's actually been down here and had the pizza stop. It's right over there by my house.
Whoa.
And I am going to just absolutely decimate that pizza today.
I got to find this pizza stop.
I'll tell you what, you go to Pizza Stop and true story, it's also, so not only is it a pizza shop, but it's a drive-through.
It's a drive-through carry-out too.
Yeah, you want some snackies, you want some beer. Sometimes when I was with Jacob.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah. Oh,
they got dog food. They got snuff, cigarettes.
The whole thing.
They got all kinds of alcohol, liquor, wine. They got boxed wine. They got 2 liters of pop, cases of pop, and you can also get your energy drinks and all that stuff. And the pizza shop portion doesn't open until 2:00 during the week, and it's open right now during the weekends. But during the week it doesn't open until 2:00. But the drive-through is open at 7 a.m. and you can go through there. They got biscuits and gravy and shit in the morning. It's the greatest. It's the greatest place. I love it. I took Nick through the drive-through. He had never seen a drive-through carry-out like that, especially not attached to a pizza shop. It's a great place.
I've been over in Lima and they have them, and I love those drive-through. We had one called the Shortstop, and you get a full sheet pizza for like $17, just the cheese sheet pizza. And it was just the greasiest, just greatest pizza ever.
Yeah. I get my pizza. You get the pizza at Pizza Stop. The best way to do it is you want extra sauce and you want the pizza well done.
Oh yeah, of course.
I
can't believe you're going with green olives. That is that's an albatross of a topping that you normally don't get.
I just love green olives. Like I eat them out of the jar all the time. I'll just go to the fridge and open I have just a nice big thing, and I'll go in there and I'll open it up, and with my hands and everything, I'll just start scooping them out.
Jared, you're starting to move, man. Starting to move.
I can't help it.
Sauerkraut ball. Okay.
Yo,
look at that. What is up, Joey? Thank you so much. We appreciate your support, man.
We absolutely thank you. You know what? I just want to say, like, this has been such a bizarre season, but the support through it has been amazing. So thank you to everybody for spending your time with us. We've been growing, and we've been seeing, we've got none other than the master, the maestro of Illegal Ham to the Face here with us now, our newest Network 216 member. Like, all of you have enabled us to continue growing and to pursue this, and just the views and the subcontent, everything has been going up because of all of you. So thank you all for being here. It means the world to us, and collectively we have a lot of fun ideas in store for you. I promise you that. I want to say too. So Jared, you may not know initially. So this is an old bet, and I owe on this. So I said I would do the hot ones challenge if the Browns beat the Bengals week 1. Hot chip challenge. Sorry.
I'm sorry. One chip challenge. One chip challenge.
Oh,
that's
a devil chip.
So
I've done it.
I have not yet, but I do have ghost pepper chips, and so it's kind of like an interest payment on the bet that I have not rewarded the people with. I'm going to bring this bag of ghost pepper chips, and I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat them throughout the entire show. So I'm just going to be sweating. Like a really important saying in my life is, if you're not sweating, you're not enjoying it. I'm a spice connoisseur, and so we're going to see how well I can do with these ghost pepper chips for an entire length of a show. That's going to be certainly something.
Nice.
But I am now I'm going to have to start thinking about these food choices because I need to take this seriously. I need to level up. I listening to you guys with your plans and all your stuff. I don't know. I'm slacking.
Well, it's just one of those things. Like, I mean, I don't get, weekends away with the wife and kids. So like, I get excited, especially because I get the food that I want now, and not, what everybody else. So like, my pizza can actually have jalapenos on it, and banana peppers, and just I can load it up. So like, that's why I'm excited about this, because it's going to be kielbasa at lunch. It's going to be pizza tonight for the Kansas City game, and I can't wait.
It's a beautiful thing. I think I can say collectively we are all in agreement that the Browns are coming away with this win today. We're going to have a post-game show. I'm not sure how that's going to go. We're going to figure that out. And it is my sincere hope that we get to be back here 1 week from today, maybe whatever, next weekend for another Browns playoff game. So with that being said,
Heck yeah.
do we have any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave the people with?
I'm good. I said what I got to say.
I just want to say thank you guys for allowing us to be part of Network 216. Really appreciate it. Yeah. You guys have been awesome to us. I can't thank you enough. And go Browns, baby. Go Browns.
Go Browns. I'm going to leave you with one thing. I think Kareem Hunt has a surprisingly good game today. I think we see just a little taste of vintage Kareem. With that said, I love you guys all. Thank you for being here. We've got a million comments. I'm sorry if I didn't. I saw we had Mitch Metz here. All the great people. Thank you for everything you do. This has been a playoff preview. Our first one as Network 216. I'm Nick. He's Jacob. He's Jared. Go Browns.
Go Browns.